job is to serve the mayor, serve your council, serve the citizens of Rainbow City in compliant activity under our zoning ordinance and our subdivision regulations. Now, so our strengths are, our ordinance is a very good ordinance, just right for progress for a city our size. And it was developed by East Alabama Planning Commission in Anniston in 1999. And it was proposed to the general public and been adopted by the council of Rainbow City. Same thing with our subdivision regulations. But these are living documents. We can amend, add to, delete from, change as we need to, as progress expects us to, but only by delivering that request to you. And so, in the cases where we have any business expansion, new construction in Rainbow City, this application to our building department, which is Heather and Joel, so that we can ensure that it's done in accordance with our ordinance and if subdivision is involved. Now, I'm going to give you all a copy of this because there are some things that come directly to you and there are some things that we do. And the main division between all of that is whenever there's obligation by the city or when there's a business license or permit issued, then you guys have the authority to do that. We do not. And so what we do is act as a filter for all of those activities that I talked about. Because the reason we're needed is that no citizen or business person is ever going to read these documents. It's understood. It's that way everywhere in the United States. So you do need somebody to track it and maintain it and to upgrade and update it. And that's what we do for you. So the other strength we have is that we are a great team. We've got real clear picture on value to Rainbow City businesses and residents, and we are all familiar with the ordinance, and we're all together on what needs to be done. Any one or all of us can handle this in the same manner. It keeps you from having to keep yourselves inside this ordinance all the time, and it keeps you from having to hear 25 people with questions that come to your council meeting. And so we are very good at avoiding barriers and facilitating progress through this ordinance and these regulations. Most people that come, applicants that come through our meetings, have little or no information. And what they really need is a compact dose of that information, and they're pretty happy when they leave. And we're trying to increase the level of trust in our Rainbow City departments and divisions and administration. And I gotta say, don't y'all think we're doing a pretty good job of that? It's fun, really. Thank you. And so, opportunities that we have are to annex more property into Rainbow City. we've noticed over the years, there's a lot of property that's in the county and on the fringes of Rainbow City. And we know that it takes a request from a landowner to annex into Rainbow City. But I have to tell you, we could have more activity, more residential development if we had land available. And we've got some good property. And we would be all in favor of some sort of communication to those outlying but adjacent property, inviting them to Rainbow City, showing them the value of it. We might have missed it, but we haven't seen that in a long time. The other thing is maintaining those properties within Rainbow City so that they don't get lost to other adjoining cities for different kinds of uses and projects. So that may gonna require action on your part, and we don't pretend to know what that requires. But our only threat right now is probably ALDOT, Department of Transportation, because they are making decisions on our main arteries and thoroughfares and state highways seemingly without notice or comment from us or our administrators. It looks that way. However, we're aware that the mayor and Joel, our building department director, have made progress in that area. We don't pretend to know what that's going to be, but for us, if we're working on our 5 to 10 year plan, ALDOT can undo a lot of work on our part just like that. And they're getting ready to on Highway 411 through some parts of Rainbow City, if they follow through with it. But at the very least, we would like to be able to advise on our plans and zoning requirements, traffic flow, entrance and egress. I think you'll agree is probably the biggest issue that we have discussion about with applicants. And so when you're busy, when your city's making progress and you're active, you got traffic trouble, hot dog, but you got some headaches. And to have somebody capable of changing everything you currently believe about that is a threat. Mayor, thank you. I hope that works out. Would invite any of you to come to any of our meetings. However, you should know that our board cannot discuss any application anywhere, anytime, with anybody, except in a hearing where we bring it to the public. Now, we can clarify, we do a fair amount of clarifying our ordinance, but if somebody says, hey, how can I get y'all to approve something? Our reply is be compliant. What do y'all think about so-and-so right over here? We don't know till we see an application, ma'am, sir. And so by law, we're not going to discuss any of this with anybody. But you're welcome to come to any of our meetings. Do y'all have any further questions or comments? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I think the council does a very good job, and I heard the buck stop from Ms. Lee. Next time we have a meet and greet, I feel like I want to make a motion we should have refreshments.
I agree.
There you go. Are there any questions from the council?
No, I would just like to say that I really appreciate the planning commission. There are a lot of things that come through that as you were saying, that people just do not understand, and that I feel like that y'all clarify so much information information as well as making good decisions that are positive for our city. There are so many things that y'all handle that this council doesn't have to or doesn't see. So you're a great board. I appreciate your time very much and what you do and following the guidelines and any time, if I'm sure we all would feel the same way. If we could help you, you know, if you see something that's that's gonna improve our city or the job that you do or any situation in that respect, please bring it to us.
Thank you very much. That's very, very good to hear. We do it. It sure sounds good. Awesome, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to say that I appreciate your committee. I've been able to attend several of your meetings, some of them that had some problems, you know, that needed to be solved, and those problems get solved, and they're handled in such a professional way. I really want you to know that I appreciate that about this, about our planning committee. They really do a really jam-up job of explaining and allowing people to be able to understand, you know, that they may not be on the winning side every time, but they have an understanding of why there's one side or the other, and that really does matter.
That's great. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Wes.
That's right.
Is there anybody else who wanted to speak to in the free council?
Thank you.
Dan Rice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan.
Go ahead. You want to step up and give your name and what your subject is?
Okay, I'm Johnny Christopher. I'm the public relations coordinator for the Wrangell City Disc Golf Club. And so we wanted to bring you up to speed on some achievements we've made recently and some proposals that we have to improve the course for the community. So I left some of you some pamphlets there. Is there any of you that doesn't have any? Because I've got some extras right here.
Anita was not here.
Okay.
I've got it. Thanks, sir.
So what we start with, on the inside of page 1 right there, we recently had a tournament at the course. And if you look on the inside of page 1 right there, you'll see the participation we had. And this is a list of where some of the players came from. Now, we had 80 players in the tournament, and this is just 31 of the locations where some of them come from. And you'll see that we have players from Huntsville to Mobile, and all in between from Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, you know, so our surrounding states there. And if you look on the next page right there, on page 3, you'll see our sponsors. And not all of these gave monetarily, but some of them did, and some of them gave prizes, and some of the monies that they did give would go to things like one of the projects we recently just did was put flags on top of our baskets out there. It cost like $200, and the money we raised from the tournament, we use that, and that helps identify the location of all the baskets to newcomers, and we move the basket locations around so it helps you find them. So the reason I'm showing you this is to give you an idea that we have some community support, and also you can see the exposure that, you know, it's bringing from the outside as well. So on and anytime, if any of you have any questions, feel free. The next page there, page 4, that's the article that was in the newspaper. And on the bottom right there, you can see where they listed the winners from the tournament. And on page 5, you'll see some of the projects that we've been working on. That first picture on the top right there was during our tournament. We made a temporary island, and this just makes it a lot more fun for the players. It gives something fresh. You know, I'm not sure how familiar all of you are with the game, But, you can see the flags on top of the baskets, that's what our club purchased to put on there. There's a picture of one of the baskets with, it's up on top of some big boulders. We brought those in and built that. And all this is just volunteer work. You'll see the bridges right there. What you guys gave us last year, you gave us $1,000, and we really appreciate that. And we put all of that money toward building new bridges. And we were able to get 5 new bridges put in place and replace some of the old ones that had, busted boards and were just slick and wore out, nails exposed, that kind of thing. You'll see one of our signs there on the bottom, and our club built those signs. The city gave us the funds to purchase the signs, and we installed them. There's one of our volunteers welding up. We did a little stretching station, so everybody can stretch before they play. And we didn't expect it, but, people running around the track and these CrossFit people, they've been doing pull-ups on it, that kind of thing. So it just kind of helped everybody there. If you look on the next page there, page 6. This is a proposal we have for a permanent island, and some of the courses, Trustful, their course has one of these, but it's nowhere near what we're proposing here. This is something that we haven't seen anywhere, and this would, in the disc golf community, this would really separate Rainbow City and give something that nobody else has. And what I've done, I've gone around to some of the local businesses and got some people to volunteer their services. And so what this island would exist of, you can see the measurements up there, it's pretty big. Just to give you a rough idea, it'll be about the size of this room right here. And when you throw the disc, the island would be a huge island of pea gravel. And it would have a concrete border that goes all the way around it. And it would have the heavy-duty landscaping fabric up under it. And so when you throw, your disc lands in that pea gravel and it doesn't, hurt the disc. Now, the island they have in Trustful, it's nothing but just some boulders that are odd and misshaped. It doesn't look nice, and it's just a solid circle. And it's fun to throw at, but it's not appealing to the eye. This is something that would look really nice. And the contractor that I've got with on the concrete curbing has offered to donate his services and only charge what he's paying his laborer to do. It's Brian Garner from Southside, from Curve Designs. He's been doing this for years. And he's just volunteered, to help us out. And then we got some costs there for some of the mortar, the sand, and the pea gravel. And I think we could get this done for about $3,100 is what we could get it done for. And it would really, set Rainbow City apart. And it's gonna look really nice. It's not gonna be, something like they have in Trustful. It'll really look nice. Now, up under that, you'll also see some of our other needs. We need some new locks for the baskets. We've got a few baskets out there right now that if you just pulled them up out of the ground, you could take off walking with them. And so we need new locks for the baskets, some new pin sleeves, and that's what the basket slides down into. And that's so that we can move them around. And those are concreted in the ground. Also, on the next page there, you'll see what a sign would look like. We don't have a sign at the course, and most all courses will have a sign that'll say, Rainbow City Disc Golf Course, and it'll have a map so that you know where to go to, the starting locations and where all the holes are. And one side would have like some rules of the game on it. And most places have that, and we don't have one. It would be good so when visitors come, they'll know where to start at, and see some of the rules. And on the last page is some estimates for new baskets. The baskets that we currently have are 14 years old, and they've served us well. But in the last 14 years, there's been some pretty good advances in the technology of the baskets, and they're made a lot stronger. And you'll see, if you look on that very bottom picture there, that's a similar basket to what we have now. And as wooded as the course is in Rainbow City, oftentimes it's hard to spot where the baskets are. That's why we put the flags out. But these newer basket designs, you can see the big band that goes around the top. And that makes it a lot easier to identify where the baskets are. When you're standing on the T-pad looking through trees, you know, you can see it makes them stronger. You know, there's more chains on the baskets now. And in the disc golf community, that's a big deal because when you throw the disc, they stay in the basket more instead of the disc passing through the basket. You know, these are just little things, but in the disc golf community, it's the kind of thing when you look up courses to go and play, you see these things and you say, hey, they've got really nice baskets at this course. Let's go there. Let's try it out, you know. And it just brings more exposure to Rainbow City. So those are some of the things that would like to ask for help from all of you and say that we thank you for the course and for all the help in the past. So, does anybody have any questions?
I don't, I do wanna say that I attended one of your events, me and Randy Vice, and it was a lot of fun. I'd never been around disc golf and say that I'm gonna come out there. I noticed your name wasn't in the winning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Right. I was a little preoccupied with that,
I
yeah.
understand. But no, we'll take all this information under advisement and deal with it in our pre-council or work session next month, and we'll get back to you. We want to continue to support you, that's for sure.
Great. Well, thank you very much for all you're doing. We appreciate it.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
14 years it's been down there?
That's right, yeah, 14 years.
Where did the original baskets and stuff, how did it originate, I guess? Or,
I come into the course shortly after it was built, and that's back when Eddie was the park and rec director. And I'm really not even sure of the history about who brought the course in. But,
Bobby McCartney, Bobby Miller.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, good deal. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna, start out with Clark Hopper. He's gonna lead us in our invitation to be followed by the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for a wonderful day that you have supplied us. Give us guidance as the city leaders to make the right decisions for the people of Rainbow City. Be with the people who are battling the COVID virus at this time and their families, give them peace. Be with our governmental leaders throughout the state and the nation to help with the civil unrest that we've been dealing with. That we may be able to unify and become a great country again. Be with our National Guard people, our military, and our first responders. Most importantly, just be with everybody and give them peace and love. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask the clerk to take a roll.
Anita Bedwell. Here. Randy Vice.
Here.
Jeff Prince.
Here.
Jameson Jenkins.
Here.
Clark Hopper.
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Here. Need approval for the minutes for our regular meeting of January 11th, 2021.
I'll make a motion with the president. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 6 is old business, and it's about lighting on the Vivian Lee Maddox soccer fields. We had only one bid. That bid wasn't in compliance to our request for proposal, and in that case, we rejected the bids, so there'll be no action on number 6. On number 7 is old business. That's with Skipper Engineering. It's a proposal for a boundary survey and legal description at MMC Parkway easement parcel and the addition of a right-of-way track. That cost is $850, and I'd entertain a motion that we pass that. Okay.
Make a motion to take it
Oh,
off the
okay.
table.
Yeah. Can I entertain a motion to take it off there?
I
After I put it on the table, I'll make a motion that we take it off the table for.
Okay. Motion, now can we, I'd entertain a motion that we pass it? Yeah, I'm sorry. Do a roll call vote?
Anita Bedwell?
Yes.
Randy Wise?
Yes.
Jeff Prince?
Yes.
Jamison Jenkins?
Yes.
Art Hopper?
Yes. Number 8, ask for the same.
Alright,
Make
I'll make a
that-
motion that we proceed with the $850.
I'll second.
Okay. Those in favor by saying aye? Any opposed? I've still got a little bit of COVID cobweb, just so y'all know. And so you'll just have to bear with me just a minute. On number 8, it's, a contract with AECom, for design engineering service agreement for a turn lane on Steel Station Road from NAPCO to Highway 77 for $62,678. That was under old business, and we'll need a motion to take it from the table.
Make a motion to take it off the table.
Second.
We need to do that, the roll call vote.
Anita Bedwell?
Yes.
Randy Wise?
Here.
Jeff Prince?
Yes.
Jamison Jenkins?
Yes.
Art Hopper?
Yes. Now I need a motion and a second to approve.
Take a motion to approve.
I second.
Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 9 is the issuance of a credit card to the new fire chief, Tim McKee, from Exchange Bank with a credit limit of $4,500. And that would also delete, former Chief Potter's credit card.
Make a motion for acceptance.
Second.
Those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We're down to the council member reports and comments. We'll start with Anita Bedwell.
Thank you. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Hope this improves real quickly. We had, in our work session, we talked about, consideration of a company called Core, Destinations Group, Distinctions Group, couldn't remember. Core Distinctions Group, about starting on, beginning some planning for our city, and this will be a, area lodging study. And so, we have some folks interested in looking at us, I think, and, this is just one of those things that we need to get together as a package to begin to be able to market our city and move forward. So I would like to put in the form of a motion that we allow the mayor to sign a contract entering into an agreement with Core to complete that, study.
Second the motion.
There's a motion and a second for me to enter into an agreement with Core Distinction Group. Those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll take care of that this week.
I think that's all that I have.
Yeah.
First off, I want to say, thank you, excuse me.
After we've done it, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was under the same understanding that that is our property once we do this study
Yeah.
and we're able to use it.
Thank you. This study will belong to Rainbow City. It's not something that, we're doing to hand to a group, advertising group or anything. It will be our study. And as we all have talked about, and there hasn't been a whole lot of public communication about it, but I think in the back of every one of our minds, and it's moving towards the front real quickly, is that we're looking for a long-term plan for Rainbow City. We're looking at development plans, and this will be one of the beginning things for us to put in our portfolio to be able to begin that progress.
I met with this hotel group, and one of the things that they said and identified about Rainbow City is that for a city our size, we don't have any, multi-single night lodging. And because of that, it puts us at a total disadvantage. And, you know, one of the ways for us to start moving towards that is for us to identify our shortcomings, not as much, we all know what our strengths are, but, you know, going back and actually identifying our shortcomings is one of the things that we have to make sure that we do and be brutally honest with ourselves. And that's why, I met with these people, and I think that's why this area study is so vital and critical. It allows us be able to look at ourselves and see where we're going to be. And this thing actually has almost like a forecasting mechanism, not only of how much money we'll make, which is, that's very important, but it's how that we can serve the people that are gonna come in and temporarily be residents with us for a couple of nights. And I think that is the way we find our growth, because there are people that will come and stay in a hotel and decide to retire to a community or come and move into a community and make it their own. So I think this is a really good step for us to move forward. Randy Goss?
First of all, again, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I want to thank the folks for joining us online. Glad we're able to do a dry run on this. What I want to talk about tonight very quickly is the fact that our community's hurting. I know, Mayor, welcome back. Worried about you for a while. This stuff's real. I appreciate the response we've gotten from the City Hall employees and council members and everything with our mask resolution from 2 weeks ago. And again, I just want to offer my prayers and condolences to all the local people who have suffered from this horrendous disease that we're dealing with, and continue to pray that, as Clark issued in his prayer, that we will get through this and be better and stronger for it. And again, thanks so much for coming out.
Again, just like Randy said, I want to thank everybody for coming out and just joining us on Facebook. I appreciate Randy coordinating and getting us up on Facebook Live, and I just echo what Randy said with this virus. I know we're missing a lot of people, without a doubt, and I'm very thankful that our mayor is back tonight and that he is okay. I know we're grieving the loss of a lot of people, some of our very own. I went to visitation today actually with Mayor Taylor for H.M. Hutchinson. We know that family's hurting, and a lot of that to do with COVID, but I know we're missing a lot of people. And that's certainly a loss for Rainbow City. H.M. was very close to me. He made a huge impact on our city for decades. And so we just remember him tonight and everybody that's hurting from this virus. But again, thank you all for coming out. Also, Mayor, we have a position in the street department that we need to post, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve the posting of that position.
Have a motion, is there a second? Those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
The COVID numbers, we know there's real, we know we got different vaccines coming, we know Johnson & Johnson's fixing to hopefully get a patent soon to give the one shot and make it cheaper, but it did strike home to us, not only like I said with the mayor, but we also lost an employee, Ricky Collins. And I want to single out Mike and Kenneth and them for joining me at the funeral service for Ricky this past Saturday. And I appreciate y'all showing up, guys. And anytime it gets like that, and starting to see it like we're talking about with Mr. Hutchins, and not only that, other people, his daughter Kim Davis, correct? Am I correct on his name? And I knew the first name, I want to make sure I was correct on the second. This stuff is here. Hopefully, we will start seeing some of it lighten up. I don't know. Main thing is I just want everybody to be safe, and let's be cautious and keep mindful of the mask and the social distancing. Thank you.
I as well want to welcome back Mayor Taylor. Texting and phone calls is a lot of fun, but it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Glad
Good to be seen.
Glad you, yeah, absolutely. As Randy and Clark and Jameson and all already said, we have lost several members of our family, and I feel like Rainbow City is a family. An employee, a 50-year businessman. His was not COVID, is my understanding, but Kim, his daughter, was. I spoke with former council member Rodney Prickett this morning. His mother was in Grandview at the same time Kim was there. So wear your mask. mask. Nobody likes masks any less than I do. But I am a whole lot more cautious, in the past couple of months. And I'm ashamed that it took that to probably push me to that, to be honest. But I do pray for everyone's safety in Rainbow City and the surrounding areas, and continue to follow social distancing, if you will, for the time being. So, and I appreciate everyone coming out, and thank, as James said, thanks to Randy for having this live stream tonight. This is the first step towards something that we all would like to see, and quite frankly, all campaigned on, was opening this up to the people that weren't able to come to the actual meetings. So, thank you, Randy, for getting us started, and I'm sure it'll get better from here, only get better. Sure, it'll be great.
I want to thank my good friend Shane Ellsbury for running the
Yes.
setup part. It's showing it's me, but it's actually Shane, so thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
And I do have one thing, Mayor, from our pre-council, from our work session, excuse me, on the resurfacing, and at Vivian Maddox, Philip had provided us with some numbers for getting started down there. And my understanding is the first step is getting the dirt, clay in. And I would like to make a motion. We've received a bid to haul it ourselves from Tuscaloosa, and then the same company, Crimson Stone Incorporated out of Cottondale, gave us a bid, $12,954 to haul it up here, which is the difference of about $3,000 in hauling expense. But for that distance, I think it's prudent that we allow them to do that. So I would like to make a motion that we accept this bid to get started with this for the $12,954 to Crimson Stone.
Is there a second?
I say.
Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Phil.
There are two bids in that package, or I say bids, there are two quotes in that package.
Right.
The $3,000 difference is, the 9,000 plus is
Hauling.
just, no, the $9,000 is the product alone. The
Right.
difference is about the $3,000 difference is if they haul it for us.
Right.
I have been in contact with a couple of companies, to try to see if there's someone local who can get it here cheaper than that. So that's where if they bring it to us, it's $3,000.
Right.
But if I can find somebody local that can do it for cheaper than the $3,000, then it would only be the $9,000 product, the only $9,000. So if you'd rather them haul it, that's maybe try to find a local business who can maybe do it for us a little cheaper. That's the difference in the quotes.
Yeah. I think in looking at that, we know that we probably can't beat that number. And in that, we can also expedite get the product up here and do it all in one. So, I think, is there anybody else?
I think, based on what we talked about in our work session and looking at it, I don't think we're gonna be able to beat the $3,000 difference to get the product here.
Well, the motion is second on the floor, to accept the bid at, what was the number again? I'm sorry.
$12,954.
That'll be entered into the record. Those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go. Do you have another part? The front, the resurfacing portion of it.
Yes, yes. And then also, along with that, the resurfacing, the bid, this includes nets and all, Philip, correct
That's
me if
correct.
I'm wrong?
Nets, going in and kind of laying it out again, and then laser grading it all back to industry standard, to where you basically would start day one again after 12 years.
Okay. We have the bid here for $49,054, which that includes that actually is stone for the infield, is that included in this?
No, sir, that is not included.
Okay.
We are buying that because they would add a 10% markup on that, and so taxes as well. So by the time the 10% markup or whatever the markup of the product is plus the taxes, it's just easier for us
Okay.
as a non-tax paying personnel to just do it ourselves.
All right. All right, well, would like to make a motion that we accept the bid to remove and replace the backstop nets.
What about the bid law, Jim?
Go ahead.
What about the bid law on that?
Yeah, I think
That is they are part of the co-op.
They're part of
Because
it.
I will have to send this back and they will give us our co-op number and their co-op number. And so because of that, that's, that has already been taken care of through purchasing cooperative such as Sourcewell and, all the other different
As
types
long
of
as I know the
organizations.
contract number, I'm
Yes,
okay.
ma'am, and it'll all, they have to send it off and then their people will send us and send them their contract number and that same specifications. And when that comes back to us, then I will present that to you with our contract and their contract number on that. But they have to send it off once we reach our agreement.
All right, I would amend my motion to include the verbiage that we proceed with this with the understanding that that is, we're not gonna have any problems with the bid law, that is part of it, so. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I put that in the form of a motion, that we accept this.
we have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Who's the company on
The company on
that, Jim?
this is Game Day Athletic Services. I'm sorry.
There's a motion and a second. Those in favor by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay. Just make sure that we get all of that.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I think, is that it?
That's all.
I just want to say that, I appreciate the thoughts and prayers while I have been sick, and good grief. I could say it over and over again about how we don't really understand what we're up against, but this is, it is a real deal, virus, and like I said, just the week that I left, the days right before I went out sick, I was with Rick College. The last thing that he did was gave me a thumbs up off of an excavator, and Nita and I were at our church pit, and, only to find out just a few days later that he was gone. And, that's the tragedy of this whole thing. So, I just really wanna, appeal to you to be safe, to wear your mask, to wash your hands. I think it's one of the things that we have kind of slowed down in doing, is we did get lax and we did see a surge of numbers, and now that our numbers are beginning to fall, I'd rather us not go lax again. The other thing is the vaccination. I know there's all kinds of thought processes that people go through about the vaccination. I'm only gonna say that I've had the first vaccination, I'll take the second vaccination, and that's my personal opinion. And if leadership matters, follow my lead. That's all I would ask. It's just not worth the chance that you might take, to get the one that'll kill you. And this thing will kill you, and we've all seen that loss and that tragedy over the last few days and last few months, and it's all too much. There's a lot of great things happening in Rainbow City. I have missed, 2 weeks of work, but I've been trying to work as much as I possibly could. We have a couple of things that we're working with some of our businesses. I've been contacted by a couple of more that, it's some very exciting things that are on the horizon, and it's not quite to a point where I can put it out to you guys yet, and, I haven't even released it to the council because it's not time. But the minute that it is, I'll put it out so that we can see that, we're entering into a really, really exciting time in our city. The other thing that I would say is that, you know, we still are in this fight against this rendering plan. Now, this council has stood our ground and we're continuing to do so, even to the point of being attacked, you know, by the other side. I don't wanna call them the opposition because we are the opposition to this. But, I've got thick skin and I can take it. And our council member is taking it on the chin as well. And I just want you to know that there's been so much research that's gone into this. We tried to make sure that we're defending not only the rights of our citizens, but our quality of life, which matters so much, and it matters so much now, especially because this is an incredibly emotional time for each and every one of us. But we're not gonna allow, as best we can, someone to take advantage of us because we're in a downtime. You know, because we are in a rough patch. Because long-term, and our vision as a council is for Rainbow City to truly be that city of promise that we talked about during the election. And the ones that came before us, we owe it to them to put forth a unified front and a point of strength. And that's what this council is going to do, and that's what your mayor's office is gonna do. And I wanna especially just commend our employees. You know, we've had a tough time. We've gone through a transition period, you know, and we'll begin a new era in our fire department, and we need to support those guys and support our new fire chief that's coming in next week. And more than anything, I just have to say that I'm not the guy that believes that we're gonna always stand against things. I'm not that. I had that said to me the other day that, you know, that Rainbow City doesn't want anything. That's not true. Rainbow City wants what's good for our citizenry. We want what's good for our kids, and we want what's good for our county. And in that, I believe that now is a great time for us to reach out to our city to the north, to Gadsden, and to their leadership, and tell them that we would appreciate them taking this rendering plant in another direction. And that's straight out of our county and somewhere else. And I would appreciate anything that you could do, and the people that are on Facebook, if you could just reach out to them, as kind and gentle as you can be. Because the truth is, we all understand that our time's coming where this council is going to, you know, have opposition from some of the people even in this room. And when that opposition comes, I hope that we would stand and that you would understand that we were trying to do the very best for our citizens. That's what we're asking our brothers and sisters to the north to do, is to stand with us. Let's reject this rendering plan, and let's move on with growing our county. I think that can be done, and I think that's the direction that we need to go, in a very kind and gentle way. I'll say it again, I'm begging them not to bring this to our county. And I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all for being here.